Now, let's talk about access control. And as the name indicates, how do we control access? That is both physical and logical access control. And you may also hear logical referred to as technical controls. And we have talked about some of these before. The three different types are administrative controls. Those were the policies, the procedures, the standards. Then physical controls. Those are the ones that you can touch. The walls, the doors, the bollards, the turnstiles, all the physical stuff. And then we have technical controls. Those are the firewalls or the access rules. And really, a security control is a safeguard or a countermeasure that we use to avoid, detect, counterattack, or minimize security risks. We use them to protect our confidentiality, integrity, and availability. If implemented right, some controls can stop security events from happening, some can alert us when they do happen, and some can minimize the impact and help us recover faster. And here again, luckily, there are a handful of frameworks that we can use to make sure both we have the right security controls in place and they are as efficient and as effective as they need to be. Now, for the exam, I don't think you need to know these in depth. I would know there are frameworks that can help with our security controls. We have ISO 27001, COVID, and NIST 800-53. And for anything like this that I mentioned, if you want to go read up on it more, there will be links in the link section. So to start out, we have our administrative or our directive controls. That is our policies, our procedures, but it's also the laws and regulations that we need to adhere to. And it is our training that raises the awareness that changes the user's behavior. Yes, I keep saying it like that because that's how you learn something new. When you sit at the exam and you see a question that talks about training, then in your head, you heard a little Thor saying, we give them our training to raise the awareness so they change their behavior. Then if change user behavior is an answer option, well then you have the right answer. Alright, moving on. Also, as part of our administrative controls, we have how we hire and fire people because this is also based on our policies. And you can of course ask, are these just administrative or directive? Do they really do anything? And the answer here is yes. First off, we train the staff to raise their awareness. They change their behavior. It also gives an outline for our employees what is acceptable and what is not. We talked about the print policy, the shoulder surfing policy. We may have a policy that say, don't let anyone in without an ID badge. But even more, our policies, procedures, frameworks, and guidelines are used to build our physical and technical security controls, which then logically brings us to technical controls. And they are technical. You may also see them referred to as logical controls. This is the hardware, the software, the firmware. We use that for access control. It is our firewalls, our routers. We use it to authenticate our staff, usernames, passwords, smart cards. Once we have authenticated them, then what do we give them access to? And that's the last A of the IEEE model. We hold them accountable. All that is technical. Makes sense, right? And while many of the technical controls are physical, the servers, the racks, all that stuff, they're not physical controls. It's not like the attacker would have to climb over a server to get into the data center. So even though you can touch them, they're not physical controls. And then as the final control, we have physical controls. Again, we can touch them. Those are our locks, our doors, our fences, our guards, the dogs, gates, bollards, man traps, alarms, cameras. All the things you can touch. While it may not be smart to touch a guard dog, you can. And with all of these, we have our layered defense. And this is probably a good time to talk about what that is. So our layered defense is multiple, overlapping, complementary security measures. Some people also call it an onion defense. For each layer you peel away, there's another layer. The outer layer is the physical layer. And that doesn't mean there's not going to be other physical layers as you peel away, but the outer one is physical. If you think of it as a highly secure facility, then there's going to be a fence all the way around the building. Then, depending on how secure we are, maybe between the fence and the building, we have guard dogs. Then we have strong walls all the way around, maybe no windows. And then you can only enter and exit the building from one or two places. At that place, we have bollards. And those are just the big concrete things to make sure you can't drive a car in somewhere. You might see them outside shopping malls or businesses. And they're not always concrete. They can be metal posts or whatever. All they really do is prevent entrance and exit if you're in a car. Alright, so we get to the gate. Strong gate again, and we may have multiple security guards. You show your ID, you confirm who you are, all physical. Then there might be a door where you need to swipe your card, use your fingerprint, or a combination of both that's both physical and technical. If you're going into the data center, then there might be locked cabinets. Again, physical access control. If you're then in the data center and you're trying to log into a server, again here, it's a technical control. So you can see the further and further in you get into the building, there are more and more controls. Now, if the first 5 fail, well, maybe number 6 stops the attacker. And that's really why we call it defense in depth or onion defense or layered defense, because it's not just one control. We don't just have a strong outer perimeter. Think of it if you go to work. If I went to my old one, I would get to a door. I would swipe my card. The door is physical, the card is technical. I would then go to the elevator, again here, card, technical. I would get to a door upstairs. There'll be a keypad on the door where I entered the code. The door is physical, the PIN number is technical. I have had some students that struggle with these concepts, and for them, I've told them, play a mini game. Whenever you go to work, every time you get to a control, tell yourself, this is technical, this is administrative, this is physical. Just logic your way through which type of control this is. And if you remember back to IAAA and the different types of authentication, you know the card I have in my possession is a possession factor, that's type 2 authentication. The PIN number is type 1, it's a knowledge factor, it's something I know. Now, when we have all these wonderful technical and physical controls in place, what if we forgot to tell Bob that he can't just open the door to the data center so he can go outside and smoke? And yes, I work somewhere where someone did exactly that. It's just much easier to open the door to the outside than it would be for him to have to go through 2 or 3 locked doors and a security guard to go outside to smoke. So he just kind of propped the door open. And the door to the outside has to be there for fire regulation. It's also an easy way to get stuff into the data center. Regardless of that, you don't just open that door unless there's a valid reason to do so. And since Bob was a relatively smart guy, he figured out that he can open it for up to 2 minutes before the alarm goes off. So he would open the door, start his timer. He now had 1 minute and 50 seconds to smoke and then close the door again. And the point really here of the story is we can have all these physical and logical controls in place. If we don't have the administrative controls too, if we haven't trained Bob and we haven't raised his awareness, then the physical and logical controls are going to be a lot less effective. And with that, we are done with this lecture. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next one.